Arcueid Brunestud is one of the most powerful characters in Tsukihime, a visual novel created by Type Moon. She belongs to a mysterious race known as the True Ancestors, vampiric beings created by the Crimson Moon Brunstud and hired by the wealthy Earth, Gaia, to act as guardians. She's specifically designed to hunt down and eliminate threats like fallen True Ancestors who succumbed to their primal instincts, and dead apostles, humans turned vampires through True Ancestor blood. Among her kind, Arcueid is the strongest. However, what if Arcueid was instead tasked to wipe out curses and sorcerers from the planet? What if Gaia deemed the concept of cursed energy and curses too dangerous for the survival of the planet? Would Arcueid be capable of finishing the job? Despite being nearly all-powerful, Arcueid is constantly holding herself back. At the beginning of Tsukihime, she uses 70% of her total power just to suppress her vampiric urges. That leaves only 30% of her power available for combat, and even that fraction, she's still one of the most powerful characters in the verse. She can easily tear apart dead apostles like Nero Chaos, a terrifying vampire whose army of beasts could individually destroy tanks. Type Moon's creator, Nasu, has even said to Arcueid at 30% strength is equivalent to 4 heroic spirits. Legendary figures like Saber or Kukulin who are capable of leveling cities or mountains. Her physical capabilities are nearly unmatched. Arcueid has speed fast enough to catch or dodge lightning, and senses sharp enough to detect vampires long before others can. She has an enhanced sense of smell, tracking someone by scent across an entire city. Arcueid's endurance and regeneration are another level altogether. Even if her body is blown to pieces, she can regenerate instantly, recreate it from scratch. During nighttime, especially under a full moon, her immortality becomes even more potent. It's essentially stated that she lacks the concept of death under these conditions, making her practically unkillable. One of her most unique traits is her adaptive power scaling. As an agent sent by the planet, it will provide her with infinite supplies of energy. Her strength increases slightly beyond the level of her opponent. This gives her a persistent edge in combat, no matter how strong her enemy may be. She also possesses the mystic eyes of enchantment, which gives her limited mental control abilities, allowing her to subtly manipulate, paralyze, or influence others psychologically. On top of that, her unique nature as a true ancestor grants her immense resistance to forms of magecraft and conceptual attacks. The only effective way to harm her is through unfamiliar conceptual weapons or by severing her link to Gaia. Arcueid's most powerful ability is Marble Phantasm. This is a reality-altering power that allows her to manipulate natural phenomena by bending probability in her favor. If there's a 1% chance on a specific event occurring, Marble Phantasm can make that 1% become 100%. Through this, she can create events that normally wouldn't happen as long as they're grounded in the laws of nature. For example, she's been shown to create vacuums in enclosed space to obliterate enemies. Even when weakened, she can wield this power with deadly precision. At full strength, her Marble Phantasm can manifest large-scale effects like rebuilding parts of the world or recreating events and entities from the past, such as the Crimson Moon. Gojo's Infinity is the ultimate defensive technique. Infinity works by creating an infinite series of divisions between Gojo and his opponent, meaning attacks never physically touch him. Arcueid, however, manipulates probability itself. If there's even a 1% chance an attack can bypass infinity, or even a 0% chance, Marble Phantasm ensures it happens. She can even use Marble Phantasm to raise the concept of infinity altogether. She can manipulate space and natural law directly, negating Gojo's advantage. Even if Gojo manages to land an attack, Arcueid's regeneration far outclasses Reverse Curse technique. She can regenerate from dismemberment and even the effects of the mystic eyes of death perception, which severs concepts alongside flesh. Unlimited Void, Gojo's domain expansion, plus the target's mind with infinite information, but Arcueid's existence is tied directly to Gaia, giving her near immunity to mental interference and conceptual attacks. And even if you call that cap, Marble Phantasm can still undo the effects by itself. She would quickly adapt, nullifying the sensory overload. In a straight fight, her physical speed and physical strength far surpass Gojo in every way, and on top of that, he has no means to permanently kill her. He could delay her briefly, but her connection to the planet gives her infinite stamina and escalating strength. Gojo's elegance and tactical brilliance will be admired, but Infinity's true failure will come at Arcueid's hands. Sukuna's cleave, dismantle, and flame arrow techniques are lethal to humans and most sorcerers, yet Arcueid has tanked far worse. The mystic eyes of death perception, which can sever the very concept of life and existence. Surviving Shiki strikes already proves that conceptual damage on a higher metaphysical scale, the curse energy, cannot permanently eliminate her. Sukuna's oven and shrine level destruction will simply be shrugged off by her advanced regeneration, which allows her to reassemble herself from near total obliteration. Sukuna's adaptability and cunning might let him prolong the fight, but Arcueid's power scaling would ensure she always remains just beyond his reach in strength and speed. Even if Sukuna managed to land a perfect soul level attack, her immortality under the moon means she cannot die in a conventional sense, but in the end, Sukuna will be utterly outclassed. Yuta's copy techniques and bottomless cursed energy makes him Jujutsu Kaisen's second strongest sorcerer, but his versatility doesn't translate to effectiveness here. Rika, while immensely powerful, caps out at mountain level destruction at most, a level force that Arcueid can both match and casually survive. Rika would likely be obliterated by a single strike from Arcueid, given her ability to demolish dead apostles with armies of familiars more dangerous than most curses. Yuta's reverse curse technique ensures exceptional regeneration, but is primitive compared to Arcueid's conceptual immortality, which lets her rebuild her body from nothing or bypass death entirely under certain conditions. His ability to copy curse techniques doesn't help. None of Jujutsu Kaisen's arsenal fundamentally bypasses her concept resistance or a direct link to Gaia. Even if Yuta unleashed every technique he's copied in rapid succession, Arcueid's adaptive scaling ensures she'd always remain a step ahead. Yuki's mastery of Star Rage and her ability to manipulate imaginary mass is an incredible offensive ability. She can drastically increase her mass to near singularity levels, even forming black holes under extreme conditions. However, Arcueid's adaptive scaling always ensures she rises slightly above her opponent no matter what. Even if Yuki cranked her mass to black hole creation levels, Marble Phantasm gives Arcueid the ability to manipulate gravity, probabilities, and natural laws to nullify or redirect such effects. This fundamentally removes Yuki's win condition. Her arsenal relies on raw physicality, areas in which Arcueid dominates. Black holes could pose some danger, but Arcueid's control over environmental constants means she could dismantle the formation entirely. Kenjaku's arsenal is vast, and his creativity is unmatched. With thousands of curses under his control, including special great spirits with terrifying abilities, he could theoretically flood the battlefield with an overwhelming variety of powers. However, Arcueid has already defeated similar opponents in a Type Moon universe. Nero Chaos wielded an army of 666 beasts, each capable of destroying tanks and cities, yet she tore through them without effort, and this was with an even more nerfed version of Arcueid than what we're dealing with. Kenjaku's curses will pose minor annoyance at best. His real danger lies in his intellect, but neither offers a way to permanently eliminate Arcueid. Killing her requires a level of conceptual attack, a planetary scale disruption he simply does not have. Hakari's immortality through jackpot regeneration is impressive in a JJK setting, allowing him to revive multiple times over a set duration. However, Arcueid has fought countless dead apostles and true ancestors with similar conceptual immortality, many of whom can regenerate faster, more thoroughly than Hakari. Against her, his ability to continuously revive would only prolong the inevitable. Marble Phantasm could manipulate the conditions of probability to interfere with his ability to hit jackpots consistently, potentially shutting down his main survival mechanism. She could atomize him, destroy the terrain around him, or eliminate him on a conceptual level. However, Hakari might amuse her briefly with his music. Mahito's idol transfiguration allows him to manipulate souls directly, bypassing physical durability entirely. against almost any sorcerer, this is an instant win. But Arcueid's soul is beyond Mahito's comprehension. She survived being cut apart by the mystic eyes, a depth perception, which operates on a conceptual level beyond Mahito's pay grade. Her soul is tied directly to Gaia and transcends both time and space. Her very presence was distorting time, space, and tearing into the world's textures, which are layers of the planet, each holding their own laws. This means Mahito couldn't even interact with it properly. Attempting to reshape her or damage her soul will likely backfire catastrophically, much like when he touched Sukuna's soul, except far worse. Some of you might try to bring up Mahoraga due to its ability to adapt, but Arcueid would decisively defeat Mahoraga before it could adapt, while Mahoraga's wheel allowed it to adapt to any technique after experiencing it once. It must first survive the initial attack, which is unlikely against Arcueid. Her marble phantasm manipulates probability and natural laws on a conceptual, planetary scale, allowing her to bypass conventional defense entirely. She could force any improbable event, like Mahoraga failing to adapt, to become reality. Arcueid's speed, which far exceeds anything Mahoraga has dealt with, and her destructive power capable of casually destroying mountains, means she can one-shot Mahoraga before adaptation begins. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone else in the JJK universe isn't remotely surviving. Literally, none of their curse techniques will be a threat, and they don't have the stats to match. And if you haven't been paying attention, the many expansions that enforce absolute rules of their territory mean nothing to Marble Phantasm. All this doesn't even take into account her mystic eyes, which would paralyze basically 99.9% of the verse before they even had a chance to activate her techniques. So like the thumbnail said, this would be one-sided slaughter.